Life and death have been one incredible nightmare. But now all that is going to change because Freddy wants to become a daddy.
Want to make babies?
What's wrong with me? You're just a little pregnant.
When it comes to chills.
You're happy while I was awake.
When it comes to screams.
Do unborn babies dream?
When it comes to pure terror. No one delivers like Freddy. A Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child.
It's a boy!
When it comes to terror, remember, Freddy knows best.
The party's just started!
Hey YouTubers, Hankster here, and welcome to another installment of the Nightmare on Elm Street movie review series. And we're going to go into the fifth installment, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 5, The Dream Child. Now, of course, this is the final part of the three-part story arc that was shown in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. And we, of course, returning to Alice, the girl who, of course, has the ability to pull people into her dreams. She apparently has things going through her life. She, of course, is currently dating Dan from the last movie. She just graduated high school. She has a new group of friends and all, including, of course, an overachieving diver, a up-and-coming model, and an up-and-coming comic book artist. But things start getting weird when she starts having weird dreams, including, of course, her being pulled into the reenactment of how Freddy Krueger was conceived. If you remember in the third movie, he was conceived when his mother was raped by 100 maniacs in an insane asylum. And she, of course, Alice took on the role of playing his mother, Amanda Kruger. Now, if you one little side note here. Now, if you remember from the third movie, we did find out that Amanda was his mother, and she was, of course, was also the mysterious nun that was talking to Neil. And she was the only one that Neil could see. She, of course, was Sister Mary Ellen, but she was also Amanda Kruger. And now, of course, the difference here between the nun in the last movie and the nun in this movie is that she's played by a much younger actress. They didn't have an older actress. I guess they wanted to have somebody young. Obviously, they didn't want to have some old woman giving birth to Freddy Krueger, which would be pretty much creepier and weirder in the dream world. It would have been a little bit more horrific, but you know. But of course, Alice, of course, doesn't realize that she herself is pregnant. Yes, she gets pregnant by Dan at the very, very beginning of the movie. You pay attention, there's a semi-sex scene going on in the rolling of the credits. And, of course, they conceive a child. But, of course, sadly, she doesn't find out until after Dan is mysteriously killed while trying to come to her side after she experienced a strange nightmare. He's on his way, and all of a sudden, Freddy Krueger causes him to get in a fatal car accident, and all. Which, no surprise. I mean, Dan did his bit. He got her pregnant. We don't need him anymore. But Alice is perplexed by one question: how did Freddy Krueger get into the dream? Was able to pull Dan into the dream world without her being asleep herself? She was wide awake when all this was happening, and she, of course, witnessed Freddy Krueger's birth, as well as being regenerated back into his full Krueger mode, and as well. And all. Sadly, it had to take the death of another friend, a up-and-coming model, who basically kind of pushed into the world through her pushy mother, her rich mother, for Alice to realize that maybe Freddy Krueger is not going through her dreams, but she's going through the dreams of her unborn child. That somehow Freddy Krueger has enlisted this child's help in doing his dirty work in the dream world. Now, of course, to top it all off, not just do we see Amanda Kruger returning, but also the appearance of another mysterious person, a little boy, and sort of he's dressed in all in rags, and he seems to know Alice for some reason, and of course we slowly come to realize as the plot gets by that he is the representation of her unborn child. His name's Jacob, a name that she wanted to name a child anyway. So basically, she comes to realize that this is her child that she's talking to, not some lost child within the dream world or in a hospital or anything. And Freddy Krueger is telling him lies that she doesn't really care about him and all that, and he should stick with Freddy and do fun stuff like killing people. Even though the child, of course, does want to be with his mother. And of course, obviously, Freddy can't kill Alice, because if he kills Alice, he kills the kid. So, yeah, he needs the child, and he needs Alice, so that's kind of a holdback on him. But that doesn't stop him from killing everybody else, who's, of course, Alice's friend. He tries killing the diver friend of hers, who's pretty much reluctant into believing that Freddy Krueger is behind all this, these killings and everything. It's just a weird coincidence. But her third new friend, comic book artist, seems to have a grip on it until he's pulled into the dream world and uses his ability for becoming a dream superhero to stop Freddy. But of course, Freddy bulks up and becomes Super Freddy and stops him. So basically, it's up to Alice in the dream world to try to stop Freddy from infecting her child, while the diving friend goes into the tower where Amanda Kruger's mortal remains is hidden. She, of course, had locked herself into a tower and apparently, reportedly, had committed suicide. We cut right after the failed trial of Freddy Krueger, her son. So basically, sort of put her into a limbo that she was not really able to help Alice stop Freddy until she was freed from the tower. And of course, when Amanda was free, she was better able to convince little Jacob into using his new powers against Freddy and help his mother pull Freddy Krueger apart and free his new souls and all that. So that was pretty much it. Jacob's born, and everything seems to be right, but we still see those annoying little kids singing that Freddy Krueger rhyme at the end of the movie. So I don't know. It seems like Freddy Krueger's still around somehow. So pretty much, as I said, this is the end of the three-story arc within the Nightmare on Elm Street series that helped propel the movie series from being a B-movie slasher film into a more mainstream popularity. Of course, this was the end-all sale. It was the next movie, number 6, would be the so-called Last Hurrah of Freddy Krueger, and that, of course, would be not really called A Nightmare on Elm Street. It would be called Freddy's Dead: The Final Nightmare, which pretty much tries to give Freddy a really big send-off in the movie world, even though we all know that Freddy Krueger will live on in 2 more movies. Well, 3 if you count the newer one, but we'll see what happens. But that's pretty much it here for this particular Nightmare on Elm Street movie review. So I hope you enjoyed this little review, and stay tuned here for, of course, the review of Part 6, the final installment of the original Nightmare on Elm Street movie series. Of course, not the end of Freddy altogether. And stay tuned here for more reviews and whatnot here on the Multiverse. See ya.